Good day everybody. In this tutorial we're going to correct exercise 4.4 up to 9.4. If there are certain exercises that you did not prepare, because you didn't have to do that, you can just skip that part in the video. Let's start by having a look at exercise 4.4. The first thing that you needed to explain was the banner at the bottom of the screen. Brit binge shame forces government into banning high street booze bargains. Let's have a look at what that means. First of all, Brit binge shame refers to the shameful British binge drinking phenomenon, which you saw in the video. Forces the government means has prompted the government, and prompted means the same as forced the government into banning high street booze bargains, which means that it has to become impossible to buy cheap alcoholic drinks in the city centre. High street refers to the city centre, usually the shopping district, and booze bargains are cheap alcoholic drinks which you can buy. A bargain is what we know in Dutch as een koopje. Okay, our next question then. Do you know how much a British pint measures? That is about half a litre. So if you go into a pub and you order a pint, you get quite a large amount of beer. The average percentage of alcohol in British beer is only 4% as opposed to 5% in Belgium. Heavy drinking is blamed for the soaring number of deaths from liver disease. Soaring means de pansvingen, a very, very large amount. Prove it is a growing problem. There are 25% more deaths than a decade ago. What are 4 units of alcohol? 4 units of alcohol are 2 pints, which is the recommended daily limit. But as you can see, 2 pints is about half a litre of is about 2 times half a litre, so that is about a litre a day. So that is still quite a lot. How many pints does binge drinking involve? That involves 4 pints or more. What health hazards does Chris mention? There are a few short-term issues like gaining weight, getting in trouble, putting yourself in physical risks, and some long-term health issues like heart disease, cancer, liver disease. Those are the ones mentioned in the video. Who does the government blame for this evolution? They mainly look at the supermarkets for selling booze at rock bottom prices, which means very, very cheap. And it wants to impose a minimum price of 40p or 40 pence per unit. Does the industry agree with this? The heaviest drinkers are the least likely to be deterred by price rises. It is unfair because it will mostly affect poor moderate drinkers. That is what they say, that is their defense. So in other words, they think that by making alcohol more expensive, that will not stop anything. It will only make the life of the poorer population even harder, because they still want to get alcohol, so they'll just have less money. Okay, so that was that. If you didn't understand everything in this video, well, don't worry too much. What you can always do is have another look at it. You still have the YouTube link, and see if you can retrieve the answers to the questions that you did not find by having another look at the video, by rewinding it, by replaying it, by pausing it when necessary. And if you still cannot find the answers then, you can always ask me a question. But I think the best thing you can do for that is simply watch a lot of videos in English. Just practice, and it'll help you pick up things. Okay. We're now going to have another look at exercise 5 on the next page. Okay, exercise 5 then. You saw 4 newspaper articles in this exercise. You had to read them, of course, and then make a distinction between the do's and the don'ts that they mention in each of the articles, the advice that they give in the texts. And then you had to take some information from each of the articles and turn it into health guidelines, turn it into clear, useful advice, and you have to formulate that in a way that is presented to you on page 239 in the orange grid. So you have to give advice like, it is recommended to drink 2 liters of water a day. It is advised to eat 5 portions of vegetables daily. So you have to do the same with the information that you found in each of the articles. Now I've written down some examples of what you could have written. The way you formulated it may depend on your own view of the situation. It could be different from what I have written. And if you're not sure about your answer, if you're not sure whether what you have written is correct, you can always ask me afterwards. Things you could have written for the first article are things like refrain from too much exposure to sunshine, be moderate with the amount of time you spend in the sun, you better not spend too much time in the sun. These are the don'ts. And if you want to formulate it in a different way, you can say things like, you should put on enough sunscreen, you should make sure that you spend plenty of time in the shade, make sure that you spend plenty of time in the shade. There are different ways you can formulate this, but you needed to use the information from the orange grid on the next page. Let's then have a look at the next article on the next page. It is recommended to ventilate classrooms or office buildings frequently. It is advised to do that. Why not ventilate your workspace every afternoon? I would strongly suggest that offices be ventilated in the afternoon. These are the types of advice that you could get from the article that you see here. Okay. But once again, if you wrote something else, if you wrote it in a different way, and if you're not sure, you can just always ask me. Let's then look at the other side of your paper. Here you find information about why it may not be such a good idea to take a shower every day, to use deodorant every day, to wash your hair every day. Things you could get from this article are, for example, refrain from taking a shower every day, be moderate with deodorant or with showering. You shouldn't take daily showers or use deodorant a lot. Once again, there are different ways of formulating the information that you found in the article. And the last one in 5 teenagers has slight hearing loss. Refrain from listening to loud music, quit listening to loud music, you'd better not turn your digital player up to unacceptable levels. This article mainly seems to give advice on things that you shouldn't do. Okay, so if we turn back one more time and have a look at the orange grid, that is important, and that is something that you should definitely remember. Put an exclamation mark next to that. When you want to give people advice, you can use the phrases that you find here. On the left-hand side, if you want people to do something, you can say things like, it is recommended to, or it is advised to, you should, you would better do this or that. Why not do this or that? I would strongly suggest that you do this or that. Make sure, if I were you, I would have cereals for breakfast. Good, let's now have a look at the right-hand side, the don'ts, the things that you shouldn't do and how to formulate that. You could say refrain from doing this or that. Refrain from means don't do this. Stay away from drugs. Go easy on means don't do it too frequently or don't use it too often. Be moderate with means the same. In Dutch, wees gematigd met dit of dat. Quit smoking means stop doing that. Instead of, in de plaats van. You don't have to do this. Je hoeft dat niet te doen. You would better not do that. Je zou dat beter niet doen. You shouldn't do that. You mustn't do that is stronger. It means je mag dat niet doen. And the last one, no unwashed vegetables whatsoever during pregnancy. Whatsoever means hoe dan ook. Okay, that was that. For this exercise, that is exercise 6, you needed to watch a debate on a CNN talk show and then complete the arguments. Once again, this is an exercise that not everybody needed to prepare. So if you did not prepare this, if your class didn't have to prepare this, you can just skip this exercise. Have a look at the words that you needed to fill in. Healthier is the first one. Nutrients zijn voedingsstoffen. Cancer, cholesterol, and calcium. If I'm going too fast, you can simply pause the video and rewind it and watch it. The next one, essential nutrients, a challenge, children, an aberration. An aberration in Dutch is an afwijking. And prepare. 6.3 then, designed, eat, bacteria, unconscionable. Unconscionable is a difficult word and it means morally unacceptable, or what we would say in Dutch as onethisch. Meat and delicious. If we turn the page then. Natural, health issues, gezondheidsproblemen. Detrimental means it means causing damage to something, usually causing a lot of damage. In this case to the environment. The environment is what we know in Dutch as het milieu. Animals are raised, worden grootgebracht on what are called factory farms. Meat is delicious, but so is sex. That doesn't mean we have to do it with everyone we want. Okay. And in the last exercise, you have to have a look at the arguments and write in front of each argument F for fact and O for opinion. This is the solution that you could have filled in. Okay. Once you have everything here, you can skip to the next video in which we will discuss exercise 9.